My guest at the Interview Bar is a former talk show host in Phoenix, Arizona, writes about economic issues for sites like TheStreet.com and CNBC.com, and he's the author of the New York Times bestseller, The Dollar Meltdown. His new book is Red and Blue and Broke All Over, Restoring America's Free Economy, which I describe as taking a long, hard look at America's credit card bill. He's ordered Sprite. Please welcome Charles Goyette. Cheers, Charles.
Cheers. Good to see you, Brian.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
All right, so Red and Blue and Broke All Over, Restoring America's Free Economy. I thought we had a free economy, so what
Yeah, that'd be nice. You know, the rest of the world has kind of kicked the heel of the boot of the state off, and they're becoming more prosperous. They kicked the state off in China and other places, more or less. They're kind of squirming out from under the boot of the heel. And here in the United States, we're going the other way. And I think that the lessons are really evident if you look over the sweep of history and across national borders. Freedom creates prosperity. And so you got China now since 78 or 79, 8, 9, 10% economic growth a year. The people are prospering. And here in the United States, things are going the other way. I mean, we've got 46, 1 out of 7 of our countrymen, 46 million people on food stamps. And here's what's insulting about this. You know, the guys that keep track of these things, when recessions start and when they end and stuff, they said that the recession ended in June of 2009. Mm-hmm. So you have 46 million Americans on food stamps. You know, you have 6 million homes that are delinquent or in foreclosure. You have depression era levels of unemployment, and they say that the recession ended 3 years ago. How can this be?
Do they just interpret numbers differently, or is this just major spin?
It's major. In my view, it's major spin. I mean, what it is. It's just all abstraction, and it's very, very removed from the living reality, that people experience. We're not numbers. We're human beings, and we experience tough conditions in a different way than it shows up on paper, I think.
What you say in the book is that a lot of this has to do with crony capitalism, which is a very big theme these days, because I think it's something that, and you've mentioned this, it's not a partisan issue. This is a left and right, conservative,
You're so
liberal,
right.
and you said, meet the blue boss, same as the red boss.
Yeah.
So you kind of paraphrased a Who lyric.
Isn't it the truth? That's the title of the book. It's Red and Blue and Broke All Over. The country is insolvent. The country's broke. I mean, think about this. We formerly, some of the richest people in the world, have to borrow from some of the poorest people in the world to keep our game going. But it's not only the country's insolvent, but it's the red party and the blue party. And, they divide us up on these teams, and, we're supposed to fight one another. Right. But the truth is, in my view, that it's sort of the same economic priesthood that runs the real things that make the country prosperous. So you have the same policies in place regardless of which team's in office, the red team or the blue team. I call it the American piñata. We take the parties fight to see who gets the big stick, and pass it around to their supporters. They all take a whack at the American piñata and spill some goodies out, and they scramble on the ground to get the goodies, and and they pass the baton around. Everybody gets a crack at it. But the poor piñata doesn't survive the party.
Sure,
it gets trashed.
Gets thrown in the trash
process, and that's kind of what we're like.
So why wouldn't we just print a ton of money? And just pay everything we need to pay, and we're done.
You're in luck.
Right?
You're in luck. We're doing it right now.
Fantastic.
Oh my God, you cannot believe the amount of money that they're printing right now. It's absolutely astonishing. It's a breathtaking amount of money. They're printing money like crazy.
They'll be able to pay for everything very soon. We're all
set.
They
create the illusion of prosperity again, blow up another bubble, just like they blew up the .com bubble, like they blew up the housing bubble. They print money, and unfortunately, it kind of destroys the fabric of society. You find that money isn't worth anything because they print so much of it.
Okay.
So people cease to save. Well, how do you have prosperity if people don't save? I mean, you look at China, they have a real demographic problem there because of their one-child policy. So they've got an aging population, these old people. They are some of the best savers in the world because they know that, they're going to have to take care of themselves when push comes to shove, and when they hit, retirement
the government's
years.
Not really there for them.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And so they save like crazy, but the peculiar result of that is because of all of their savings, they're creating prosperity. So here we're just trying to, we're trying to print our way out of the problem, and you can see that evident already in things like gas prices. The news I saw the other day about grocery prices.
Right.
Yeah.
I was at a birthday party on Sunday and watching a bunch of kids bowl, a lot of 5-year-olds, and I was standing next to a guy. We were chatting, and he worked in finance, and I made some jokes about that's going to be a tough business, and then he got really quiet, and then he said, "We sold these kids out."
Oh my God.
And that just made my heart sink. Number one, because he knows what he's talking about. And so I canceled the party, told everybody to go home, take the presents with them.
Go home and contemplate what we've done to you. No, but what kind of country does that? We have loaded these kids, the children on the playgrounds of America today and kids that aren't yet even born, we have loaded them with a lifetime of indebtedness for our present consumption now. You know, it's absolutely astonishing what kind of people do that so that they will never have the standard of living that we've enjoyed. You know, that they'll be struggling. It's like, you know, kids out of college, you know, struggling under student loans. You know, these kids come into the playgrounds at the age of 5 and they're struggling under, you know, tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt. They can't do anything.
And we can't put them to work at that age yet.
No, it's, you know, how are you going to get them to pay their way? To me, it's not the battle between the, you know, the left and the right, or the conservatives and the liberals, Republicans and Democrats, the red and the blue. It's the battle between freedom and statism, and we really need to look at it that way. Are you going to make decisions about your own life? You know, does your grandmother get to decide what she can take to ease her pain? Are you going to make? Are you going to own your life? Or are you going to be told? But the most common word that comes out of Washington these days is mandate. I mean, it's like a mantra with the Obama administration. Mandate this, mandate, you know, contraception, mandate health care. But I'm afraid that the Republicans aren't a lot better, and I like to be bipartisan in my scorn for these parties because, you know, Newt Gingrich, Brian, had a good line the other day in one of the debates. He said, Obama is the food stamp president.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's good. But it turns out, you look at the numbers, and more Americans went on food stamps during Bush's years than during Obama's. So it's the food stamp government. You know, it's keep the people, you know, bread and circuses and keep them provided for, and, you know, buy your way into office and to re-election by offering to give people something for, you know, for their support.
So what do you prescribe for fixing this?
Freedom for everybody. Freedom's the answer. What's the problem? And actually, I think just to kind of cut to the chase, we can be prosperous again if we look at the lessons of history, and even across national borders. You have the Korean Peninsula. You look at the satellite images of that at night. It's all dark, and there's just a line. Whose line is it? It's just an invisible line. It's all dark, and then it's illuminated because they're relatively more free down there.
The 38th parallel.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Their standard of living is 15 times higher. These people, every couple of years, they go into grass feeding to prevent starvation and stuff. But it's all a question of freedom. So if people are interested in assessing what we can do to restore our liberty, we can get worked up and have a big campaign, have a bipartisan commission, yada yada. You know, you do all those things, and then you know, at the end of the day, you win or you lose, but nothing changes.
Right.
Or you can just start to appreciate liberty. And once the American people get aflame with an idea that liberty is good and that it creates prosperity, when politicians come around talking about mandates, you know, it's just kind of insignificant. Nobody cares, nobody listens, and they have to find another approach.
They should look at a mandate as a credit card they can't afford at the moment.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles.
Brian, it's great to see you.
You too.
Thank you for having me.
And that's the BS of A for this week. I'm your host, me. Thanks to Charles Goyette for coming by. His book, Red and Blue and Broke All Over, is out now. We'll link to it on our Facebook page because that's how we roll. New show next week. Until then, please get out of the left-hand lane unless you're passing. I'm Brian Sack. Good night.